it's Amy. Welcome to my channel. I'm a small town country girl from Summerall, Mississippi. Grew up just a simple country life, homeschooling, gardening, big family. I was the oldest of 5. Now I have 7 children myself. If you've previously watched videos, you know how big my family is, and sometimes it's chaos. The youngest ones are twins, that's 5. Since the 5-year-olds have started school, I needed a little bit of something else to do. Well, not really. I think I've got too much to do. There's something about when you see fabric on a roll and then you have these measurements in a picture that you've got to make, and when you make it and get it finished and hung, it's just so satisfying. Now I have my first job and I'm kind of nervous because it's been several years since I have sewn. Well, other than sewn draperies, let me put it that way. I have made the Christmas stockings and done a few things for the children, but to actually make custom drapes and bedding without a pattern, just by measurements, it's been a while. I've just been in mommy mode for the past few years. It's all about the children. So let me get my stuff. Okay, it's something that's a little bit different. It's not just simple drapes, pinch pleats, sheer on the rod, or anything like that straight. This is an arched window, but it's kind of like a cornice already mounted on the outside. What they had done is taken off their previous window treatment, and mine has to be 5 inches longer on the top and around, and to go in the returns, which covers, so when you come up to the side of the window, you can't see any light. So it's going to be 5 inches, 5.5 inches, I think. Well, this job is in Alabama. I'm in Mississippi. I've got to make this perfectly to fit this window, and it's over 100 inches long. All they sent me was a template, which is a piece of paper here. Of this window, and they gave me one length, which was in the middle. They didn't even give me the side length. This is the window. I'm making the panels. They're going to be straight across. I have a trim to go down on the center side of this panel and the center side of that panel, and then they're going to go across the bottom. So I need to miter that, which means it's going to be sewed in a V where it goes across. This is my trim. It's a woven trim. It's probably about 4 inches wide. Really nice trim. So down on that bottom, I will have to have it where it kind of goes, not kind of goes, but it's going to be mitered. So that's what I mean in mitered. It'll be a point where it meets up in a point and then continues on. Now, due to this fabric being a sheer, it's not a normal sheer. Usually the white sheer or the off-white or ecru sheer that you see behind drapes, those are a little bit easier to sew on. They're all one type of fabric. It doesn't change. This one's a little different. And then I have this trim. If it does not sew on properly with my sewing machine, it wants to gather the fabric or look puckered or something, I will have to hand sew both sides of this down the whole, let's see, it's going to be around 112 to 13 inches long that I've got to sew the centers on too, and then across the width. And the width right now is 57 inches approximately, plus I have my returns and stuff, so that's 5.5, 5.5. So it's going to be a pretty good, oh yeah, and don't forget my pleats. See if I can get this one and show you what it looks like. Here is this, where this red is. There is 4.5 to 5 inch pleats. I've got to kind of go by the fabric and see where I need to place them. So here's the trim that goes all the way down, and they're going to be pulled back with tie backs. So the trim comes down here and across there. And then when they pull it up, that's what the finished look will look like. Here's the fabric. It's not a traditional sheer. This is a woven sheer that you've got it kind of tightly woven like a normal sheer would be. Then some of this is kind of looser and it's got a pattern. So this is going to be more difficult to sew on the type of fabric it is. And it is very costly. I think it's $150 to $200 a yard. Somewhere in that ballpark. Don't even want to ask how much this trim is. We're not even going there. My next step is to take these measurements. I have to have the length. I have to add on for the hem, which normally is a double 4-inch hem that's turned over and hemmed on my hammer. I'm going to do that, and you're going to see some videos here and there. I don't know how my video is going to turn out. You may get the whole thing. You may get some cut in and out. I may be talking on it, or I may be doing a voiceover. I am playing this by ear, but my job is to come first, not the video. This is all about this job, getting it done. I have a short time frame. It's going out in 3 days to Alabama to be hung. Also, another thing, I would feel better if I had this board and I could go ahead and have it stapled, finished with the cap on it and the gimp that covers everything. But I don't. It's still on this window. So that's why I have these measurements and this template. I have to have it perfect because the drapery installer is actually going to have to take these panels and mount them with staples across and around that. And then we're going to have our returns come in, and he's going to have them done perfectly and turned in and stapled. Finish it out, and he's going to have to staple or glue the gimp on afterwards. It's a lot more complicated for a drapery installer too. I'm sure they're not looking forward to this because normally I have it ready. All they got to do is go up there, screw the board in, dress it down, it's finished. But no, they've got more work too. I'm going to sit down with my measurements, get them all figured so I can cut it out and make sure I have plenty of fabric. I lay my fabric out, I look at it, I count it. I always count it before I cut, make sure I have enough yardage. Then I go and recheck my measurements again. Then I will cut it. And then I go from there. Their template's off. That is like 1.5 inches longer. Then it's off around here a good 1/4 inch. But I'm doing it the best I can by what they give me. Okay, so since this is double wide and the seam is actually the top, I have to cut it wet. I need to know the pattern since I have pleats and stuff. So the pattern repeat from this one to this one then. They change. So the pattern repeat is 32 inches. Okay, I'm finally ready to cut it out. I have any tape. I'm gonna go ahead and just mark it with my little Sharpie. Normally I'd be cutting off the length, but due to this being a sheer, you cut off the width, and the length is the up and down, and the width wise seam to seam because it's double wide. You don't have to cut it. So this will be my first side that I have to miter. I guess there's no right way or wrong way to do this. I don't know. If it's narrow, I can miter it as I go. I'll stop right here, run down here, fold it in half, sew across it and trim it and go. But due to this being wider, I don't want a chance messing anything up. And this isn't a trim that you can piece together anyway. It would be very noticeable. This one's a little bit wider than what I'm used to. That way it's perfect. Okay. And I do back tack a lot because I do not want these strings or anything else to come loose. Miter. It's perfectly done. It'll cut me about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. That way it will open up and lay down. So this will work out perfectly. I do need to trim this a little bit. We do not want this to show across there when I'm sewing. And I may sew it more, cut it more when I'm sewing. And the reason I start from this side and work my way down, that way if there's any fullness or anything, I won't run into it, because if I start on that end, I may be off and then I won't be able to run at this line here. And the same thing when I get down, sew down this one, then I'm gonna come back and sew this line down, so it'll be perfect. And I'm not even gonna worry about pinning all of it, because I kind of sew as I go, because I know it's gonna be right going that way. So we'll sew that way, and then come back and sew the other way. And I back tack everything. I don't like redos. I don't like when I get on a job and see something coming undone, thread or anything like that. So I really do a lot of making sure my sewing is sewed on properly. And I clip my strings as I go. I might miss one here and there, but I just don't like threads on anything either. It makes it look neat. Everything I do on this is a commercial machine. I don't know about a home machine, but that's what I do on this. The Artisan is like a Juki. It's just same machine. It uses Juki feet and different parts when I order stuff, but it's just got a different name on it. Same machine. I've had this one probably 20 years. Maybe longer than that. I don't remember. I don't know if I got it before I had Faith or after I had her. She's 20 years old, so it's somewhere either before I had her or right after I had her. Didn't realize it was that old. is right. So I'll fill that tack here. This is my corner, and I sewed there and cut that off. So I still back tack. I just extra cautious. I'm extra cautious about things coming undone and then cutting stuff and having strings ravel out. Whoop! Let's see if we still got it on. I re-broke the bones, so I had to stay in it for about 3 more weeks that I know of. And this is the wrong pink scissors. So I'm trimming the bottom off like I did on the other one. Do the same steps. Usually when you have a job, you have a lot more windows, so you do this multiple times for each window, but I only have 1 window, so I need a left and a right. See that, but same thing I did earlier, except I'm going to sew down this way. That's the closest to the edge to be easier. And I'll flip it around and stuff everything back up under there and do the other side. The gray matches so well, it's so hard to see up under there. Which I'm glad it matches. I love when my thread matches really well. That makes it so much easier. where to lay down flat. Let's get a little bit over there so I can see. The other one might be a little bit better, but spend all that time pinning. Okay, before I start hemming on this, or turning up the hem, I need to get a mark on my table. And I'll let my iron heat up. I need to see how long I need to do this. When you do drapes, normally 98 inches or so, you don't go over an 8-foot board, but due to extra length, that's usually where you charge extra too. And of course, this is extra long. This isn't my tape measure. This is the one that I went yesterday to go get. Couldn't find my tape measure. So I went home to get a tape measure. By the way, you can tell if you've been watching the beginning of this video, I'm in different clothes. So this is the next day. Went home to get a tape measure. Remembered the kids have bake sale today, K4. As many kids as I have in school, it's almost every week. We might skip a week here and there. While I was at home, I decided to go ahead and bake some cupcakes. And I thought I'd wait until later to make the icing, so I'd come back over here and work while they cooled. That didn't work. I got to thinking, well, we have 4 ball games, basketball games. So they're going to need a snack. So I went ahead and baked a cake too, so they could have it, because the icing, I make a homemade cream cheese icing. It makes enough for like a big 2-tier cake. I went ahead and made the icing, and icing the cupcakes, icing their cake, put it all up where they couldn't get a hold of the cupcakes because they'd eat them all. So they'd have them for bake sale today. And let Brian know when they get home to have cake. Had my cousin call wanting to go to the game. They asked what time I was leaving. I told them. And so they didn't care to go to the JV game because we don't have anybody playing it, but I do have my daughter's friends and stuff, so I thought, hey, I'd still make it to JV. And Hope and Christopher's already rode the bus. They're the whole team, JV girls, JV boys, varsity girls, varsity boys, they're all there. So I wanted to go ahead and be there, and I'd make it for that first game and support them. And I said something about coming back to work and then going in there like, you're not going to have time to. I looked at the clock. I did not have time to come back over here and do anything. So here I am in different clothes. So after I got through with their cupcakes and bacon and all that, I ran through there, changed clothes and all that, and ran out the door so I could video their games. Got through with all that, got home, got them fed, baby's baths and all that. It was after 11 o'clock I went to bed. So I got up, done my routine of getting lunches done and feeding children and getting them all dressed and ready. Brian took them to school and I'm over here working. So now you're all caught up. You may not care, but anyway, it was just kind of stressful and hectic, and all I got done yesterday on this job was figuring out I had enough fabric, I had enough trim. I guess I need to put the hems in them first. May want to flip this over and do it from the other side so I can see where my line is. Because it's supposed to be exactly 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. I normally don't do that, but with a trim, we're going to do everything kind of backwards. So, let me look at it and see what I'm going to do, and I will return. Okay, so now that I'm back, I flipped it over, ironed it from the front side. Now back to where we should have been earlier, if it was normal stuff. Okay, so now I have pins there. I'm going to take these out and just turn it under, iron it down, pin it, and then be ready to hem. I'm not going to try to hem yet because I want to go ahead and get the other one done to the point that I'm going to have this one. That way, if my hammer doesn't work, I'm not stressing and having to work on this again. Always make sure your hem is all the way down, touching your shear. You can see, not this one is bad, but white shear stuff, you'll see like a 1/2 inch or different things. You do not want to see your bottom layer coming up. It needs to touch your bottom really well. The bottom crease. I really hope my machine will bump over where that is. I think for the most part it shouldn't mess with it because it's far enough down, but it could. And when I turn this under, I'm kind of matching my pattern going up. That's going to help me as I hem to try to keep it in place and keep it straight, so when it hangs, it'll be straight. Got to go get me some new pins. I usually use some huge pins there, actually for boutonnieres and stuff for weddings. They have the big white ends. They're larger and they're a lot longer. I think they're 2.5, 3-inch pins. They work wonderful with drapes. That's usually what I use. I think these are some type of quilter's pins, but it's working. And if I had a lot of drapery, I don't have near enough pins anyway, because I kind of leave them in it as I'm doing it. This all sticks together. Doesn't move very well. Well, this is a good fabric you can iron. Some things you can't iron. You just have to do a lot of pinning. Whew. Okay, that looks nice. So, I was thinking I may could go ahead and while I'm hemming, go ahead and turn this under. That when I get to it, I can run out of the edge and then flip it back under. So maybe I could try that so I can get that done too. Why not? It's already on the table. That's where my line is. I have just enough fabric. I may be cutting off 1 inch. Maybe. It's a good thing that it's just being mounted because normally you'd have to turn it down and back under the crinoline that's up there for to making pinch pleats or something like that. So, or a rod pocket, you turn it down back under. So we got just enough fabric. When I get through, I'll iron that crease out. That's where it was folded and put in the box. Try to press it all out and fold it up real neatly so it can travel. And I guess I need to flip this one around the same way because I need to make sure it's just right. So I need to iron it from the other way. Man, y'all know when I get to the other one, I'll have to keep backstepping and backtracking. Whatever you want to do. Looks like it's gonna hang and do real well. This hem's gonna keep it weighted down some, so that'll be a good thing. Underneath and this hem's kind of sticking out, so move that. Of course, when I hem this, I'm going to have to open this back up, so I'm just going to kind of pin it higher up there and kind of leave that just flowing. Okay. So this one's ready to hem. whatever so we can do it right. Making draperies, you stand a lot, you use your hands a lot of thinking, figuring. I always told Mama, I don't need math. I was good in math. It was just, I wondered when they got into all that geometry and fractions and all that other stuff, what I'd need it for. But even in drapes, you need it. I use more math than anything else. Okay, now I'll do the side hem, same as this. That way if the hammer works, I'll just get them all both done, and then I'll get up here and table it and get them kind of cut off the same size. Then I'll have to put that template, that big old template. I don't know if you noticed it. I think I may have pinned it up there yesterday. I may have not. If you did and you've seen it, I gotta lay it on the top and cut it down. So let's do the side here, and then we'll tackle the hammer after I get it cleaned off. It's full of junk. I really want to shop over close to the house, or I can just walk out and go sew and make things and do stuff. I don't need nothing this big. I mean, this room's nice, but I don't need all the other rooms that's in this place. All I do is store stuff, collect stuff, and I don't need all that stuff. Which I do have a lot of scraps. I wouldn't mind making some stuff out of it. I don't have a lot of time. That's why I'm wondering why I even got back into doing this. Thought with the twins being in school I'd have time, but apparently they wasn't not the only ones taking up my time. I have a mobile home right now. I think I need to be over there doing something too. That is if they got the repairs. The person had let their washer and dryer, well, wash machine apparently leaked, and it kind of went through and got into the living room. So we've had somebody, Brian and this guy's been repairing it. And once that gets done, that whole place has got to be painted. That's the one that, I don't know if I was still doing videos on that then or not, But I let this girl move in and she asked if she could paint. And I had just painted everything a neutral color, like a creamy white. It's called Paper Craft, and from Lowe's. I used the eggshell from Valspar 2000. It's got a primer in it. Works great. I had just freshly painted that mobile home, and she asked, and kind of felt like, well, okay, if it's neutral. She's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a light gray, and it's just the living room. Okay, well, I'm assuming about this color gray. We had to go in there one time with a water leak or something that she needed repaired, and she had painted a dark gray, which was not too bad. What got me, she didn't ask about painting anything else. The in bedroom and then the master bath, she painted blue. And I don't know what color blue to tell you. It's not sky blue or a light blue. It wasn't a pretty blue. I guess if it was, I don't know how to explain that color blue. Anyway, it was a bright blue. And it just stood out, and whatever, it was a cheap, so when she had water splash from the sink or on the wall or different things, you could see water marks and everything. It was terrible. Then we had somebody really wanting one pretty quickly, and I told them I needed to paint, and they said they would be fine with it. So they moved in with it like that. And then they're the ones that had the issues with the leak. So this time, before somebody moves in, I'm gonna get rid of the blue and probably the dark gray. I'm gonna kind of lighten it up again, get it more neutral. I'll take the machine thread that I had a while ago, bring it over here. It's not even plugged up. Hopefully it works. Okay. Before I even tried to put that in there, I was going to kind of run this through it, make sure it's not light works on this one, great. Make sure it is not got anything up under there that will get on my drapes. And then I have a scrap of this that I'm gonna do, so I kind of know how to set it before I keep running it over the other. But it's not doing very well. I have looseness here, and when I start to do this, it's making a mark where that goes, and I cannot have that. That looks very tacky. So I can do it by hand, and you won't even know that there is a hem there with stitching like this is doing. I'll show it to you. Whew, I gotta get it out. Let's see if I can get it where you see. You see where the hem is? Come through. Looks really tacky. It's right there. So it's too tight. So I can hand do that and let it kind of fall into place loosely. So that's what I'm going to do next, is hand tack. Got me a stool and some needles. I am going to start hemming the bottom. I'm going to rip this, well, I have to rip it out. One thing about a hammer, you can pull it out. It's a chain stitch. So just one thread. Once I start, well, yeah. So there it was. That's it. Now one broke. Okay, I got another one, but no problem. It's out, and it'll be fine. So now I've got to get me some thread, some scissors, And I'm going to hand sew all this bottom, which is a couple of widths wide times 54 inches, so it's about 108 inches wide minus some hems and stuff. I've got 2 of those to do. Then hem the sides, pleat it up to where it would fit the width of that. Hem those sides, the outer sides, the returns. Then have this laying up here with that on it and cut it out by that, but it can't be exactly by that. It's got to be extra 5.5 inches taller, and then extra 5.5 inches wider. So when we go around that board, it will have its returns. I'm going to sit here for a while watching TV. Well, listening to it. I won't be watching it. I've got to watch what I'm doing here. When I needle, I can actually see the eye on a little bit better. Probably had to buy me some new needles. Doing stuff like this, you want to charge more. And I don't know if I can or not, which they should know this type fabric. 80% pretty sure that I was going to have to hand sew, but we'll see. So I think this is going to work. It's just going to be time consuming. So you see what I'll be doing for the next little bit. Listening to my movie, playing this, and I'll bring you back on to let you see some more steps. Okay, so day 3, which it has not taken me 3 days to do this. The first day kind of done a little bit of videoing, doing my figuring, got that figured out, and things happened and had to do. So day 2 yesterday is the day that I really cut out and started working on this. And that's when I found out my hammer wasn't working very well and I had to hand hem. So I got all the bottoms hand hem perfectly. Then I tabled them, got them all cut off to the longest point of the arch. Now it's time to hand hem the side seams of both panels. And I put in weights on the bottoms so it kind of holds the seams down, which hand hemming is not going to be as bad, but they're little weights and a little plastic thing. And probably the center one, I'm going to put 2 of them or 3 because it has that banding. And when I hold it up and I cut everything off, the middle is a little bit tighter. So I don't want it to pull. So I'm going to put an extra weight or 2 in the centers. And I'll just put 1 in these. And then I will miter. I miter my corners and put a weight in them. So that's what I'm doing now. So I've got everything hemmed. I have a line across here. This is my center of the arch. This is the edge of the arch. This is the edge of the arch. Then I need a 5.5 inch return, so I've got that there and that there. So this is the widest it can be. I am so nervous about this. The joys of making custom drapes, I guess. You never know what you're going to be able to make or have to make, or what to do to make it. I've still got to iron my edges and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not doing all that because I'll have to do it again. They wanted this to lap over in the center, so this is where it's going to be, like that. So then I have all this extra here, and this is supposed to stop here. So I should have about 30 inches extra to put in these pleats here. There should be 10 inches in each one. I hear the kids. Brian had to go to Purvis, so he dropped them off here.
Hello. Look at the baby. He got put stuffy on her.
Oh, it looks like a real baby. Is that your outfit? Oh, that was yours when y'all were twins. Well, when y'all were twins. When y'all were babies. Y'all were that little.
Yeah, but this
Mama made that passy holder too.
Why you I like that passy holder.
Because it was hard to find stuff like that, and them are kind of rubbery, so I wanted to make y'all some.
And then you find, and then you
What you got?
had the item.
Oh, that was yours.
This was mine?
Wait, yeah, and then there was a pink pair that's got little bears.
Oh,
Okay,
that was mine. The unicorn is mine. Yay.
The white one's is yours, the pink
I like
one's is
the white
yours.
ones.
They were crocheted little unicorns.
Mommy,
What?
a unicorn was Joy's.
Yes, and the pink one's was yours.
But his unicorns to me mine. But Mama
Well,
will find us.
They didn't have purple, so I done pink and white.
You want it's purple
I
and
didn't
pink.
find purple. Why don't you go with Cece and y'all go in there and play, okay? I've got to get
I
this
told you
done.
I wanted the white one because I know you make the white one. What?
Oh, I think this needs to go halfway. Okay, this needs to be in the center. It's on the lap over, I think. So we'll do halfway, if I'm thinking correctly. So I think right there. So that would be 2 1/4. That should be.
Mama, we have a surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
We
Oh,
have this flower this one.
oh, I remember when y'all wore that.
found the other flower dress too.
I know there's 2 of them. Let me see. That was y'all's blanket. I don't remember who made that one for y'all.
Let's see.
We don't pull the pins out. Mama's got them hard. Yes, y'all used that. That was a little preemie outfit, and it was big on y'all. I do remember it. Oh,
Mama.
and you found a little pink bear shoe.
Mama, why we always sell blankets?
Oh, I got y'all hooked on a pin. Here, come get your baby. There you go, baby.
Ooh, we
Okay.
like getting in this blanket.
Yes, yes.
We like soft.
Well, we didn't use those that often. We use those for when we went to church and things, okay, for nicer stuff.
Mm.
Yes. Grace, they've got to go in there and play. This is very important, okay?
Mama, why you put these ones here?
Because that's where my cleats
I
have got
want
to
to
go.
watch you make stuffing.
Well, this isn't anything you really don't think I made.
I know you like that.
There's a little hand. What you doing, big bear?
Can I have some diapers that are in here?
That's not diapers. I think that's the
Where's
number.
diapers? I feel. Maybe put in diapers. Baby always put in
Let's
diapers.
see what this.
Oh, we use those diapers. Mama, I know you always put those diapers on them.
So if I have this here, it's going to go down. So I can't put a pleat over there like I'm doing here. You see where it's kind of going down. So I should have not hemmed that side.
Mom, I
Put my
guess
pleat in here.
diapers. What?
It's just pull-ups. Y'all can take them.
Pull-ups.
Yo, go put them on your babies.
But baby poop in diapers. The baby go poop in the diaper.
It better not be pooping. Grace got you some, Charity.
What is that? I got these. Huh? Tiny ones. You got tiny ones?
Okay. I've got this where it needs to be. I'm not pressing it down because it does not look like it's pressed down on there. But I do need these pleats to be perfectly, I'll probably press down about 5 inches because the board is about 5.5 inches. It's gonna be mounted on and come back. And then they're going to take and staple a piece of fabric over and cover that and then put gimp to cover it so it'll look finished. Now, I wanted to go ahead and put this up here and cut it off. As you can tell, that's where it's going to be cut off to here. And then I've got to go out because it's going to be finished right here. This part's going to wrap around the board because the board's 5 inches. So I'm gonna come out. So that's where I've got to re-hem. I've got to cut off again. Cut it, hem both sides, and then have that finished where to go. And then I'll cut, I'm gonna move this down. 5 inches is, move that down, and then cut the same amount that I've got here to mount to go all the way around and then out. And I put in a message because with this not being finished here, this is going to wrap around 5 inches. You're not going to have no forgiveness. It's got to match up and it's got to be perfect, which it should work. But just because it's in another state, I wouldn't mind putting where this ends on this board over here, a half a pleat on this side, just a couple inches, and see if that makes it look finished on out, and then it'll go halfway around. Because if I do that and the board, somebody cut it out and it's only 5 inches or 5.5, they can undo this pleat and pull it around this way, or they can make it come if there's only 5 inches. And it'll give them more to play with, to work with, and make it look perfectly. And I started to just go ahead and do it, but I want to be 100% if they want me to do it that way because they're installing. It's Saturday. I've got to go get some children some food cooking, get some baths and all that because we have church tomorrow, and I will get back on this Monday and finish it up, which all I like is rehemming and cutting the shape, and that's it. It'll be ready to go to Alabama and get mounted. Monday morning, I'm going to get this finished. I'm going to go ahead and do this half pleat here. Here's my hem. I'm going to cut this off here and then turn up the hem, side hem, and re-hem hem like I did before. All that work. I've got stuff everywhere. The twins and Grace has been in here and they have made all kinds of messes. Destroyed stuff. So that'll give them a little bit of leeway that help installing on the job you got some to play with, because I have no idea what that board looks like. And if it's like this, you're gonna need some leeway because they didn't mark it right. And then turn it under. Okay. I'll pin everything really well at the top. That way it won't shift around and move. Okay, so this is the center, and this is where it's got to be mounted. Right here. Gotta make sure this is as straight as it's going across. I cut it for 5.5, which that's 5. So, you know, I think I'm gonna leave that there. And then I'm just gonna come on around. And that way it gives you a 1/2 inch to play with, if need be. So the board's going to need a return. So this goes in and it's going up. So this turns under at the 5.5. Let's see how that looks. So this is actually where it ends. Right there. So that board has a 5.5 inch return. See the mark. All these pins I got in there. Now I'm gonna have to repin it. Okay. Where's my trash can? I am going to do these little pins because I don't care what happens to them, if they get returned or not. So this was the line here. I'm gonna put this where it's supposed to be, where it's actually supposed to be mounted. So it'll have kind of a line to go by, my little pins. And then I'm still going to pin up here. So this way you can kind of get the full effect of that. I know it's not hanging, but I hope they'll send me a picture. So let me get the other one on there. At the top of this line, which is my 113 inches. Which is right here. And that there. There. Good thing I didn't have to make a pattern like that and then make it. Okay. It's ready for the drapery installer. I'm gonna pin it up real well. Oh, I forgot I did put pins where the other one was. I'm gonna put pins here. And they know where to mount it. I need to do that real quick. That just makes it a little bit easier when they're on the board. They're going on the board. Okay, let's put that back over there. I'm gonna put pins across here where it needs to be mounted, so that way it's kind of a little bit of insight of hair for it needs to be up on pins. But anyway, I know this is probably one of the most confusing videos ever made. Probably not helpful at all. But when you do custom work, you do what you gotta do to make it look right, to fit the window. And with this being a window that's in a staircase and it's arched, there's no perfect pattern to make it work, especially when I don't have the board to do it myself. So I'm trying to make it as easy as possible on the drapery installer to be able to do their thing, which is part of my part. And due to me not being able to, I gotta make it easier for them to do my part. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put a few of these down here. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for watching, and if you will, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I have a very good feeling I'm not going to get those, but anyway, if you do like it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, comment on the below, if you will. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe, because I should have some more jobs coming up. I gave a bid on one, and once they tell me that I've got it and the fabric comes in, I'll be doing it. But I think it's Roman shades, so if you want to see how to make Roman shades custom made, just pop back in or subscribe to the channel so you can see it. And in the meantime, you may be seeing children play and us having some family adventures or something. Who knows? Thank you for watching.